अच्युतं केशवं कृष्ण दामोदरं रामनारायणं जानकी वल्लभम् कौन कहते हैं भगवान खाते नहीं, वीर शबरी के जैसे खिलाते नहीं, कौन कहते हैं भगवान खाते नहीं, वीर शबरी के जैसे खिलाते नहीं। अच्युतं केशवं कृष्ण दामोदरम् रामनारायणं जानकी वल्लभम् कौन कहते हैं भगवान नाचते नहीं, गोपियों की तरह तुम नचाते नहीं, कौन कहते हैं भगवान नाचते नहीं, गोपियों की तरह तुम नचाते नहीं। अच्युतं केशवं कृष्ण दामोदरम् रामनारायणं जानकी वल्लभम् कौन कहते हैं भगवान सोते नहीं, माँ यशोदा के जैसे सुलाते नहीं, कौन कहते हैं भगवान सोते नहीं, माँ यशोदा के जैसे सुलाते नहीं। कृष्ण गोविंद गोपाल गाते चलो, नाम जपते चलो काम करते चलो, याद आएगी उनको कभी ना कभी, कृष्ण दर्शन तो देंगे कभी ना कभी, कृष्ण दर्शन तो देंगे अभी के अभी, कृष्ण दर्शन तो देंगे अभी के अभी।
हेलो
हेलो,
कल्पना audible?
yes madam, you are audible. Madam, good afternoon.
कौन
good
कहते
afternoon.
हैं
Let us start.
भगवान आते नहीं,
Okay ma'am.
तुम मीरा के जैसे बुलाते नहीं, कौन कहते हैं भगवान आते नहीं, तुम मीरा के जैसे बुलाते नहीं। अच्युतं केशवं कृष्ण दामोदरम् रामनारायणं
Kalpana madam, your voice is not audible. Please check your mic.
Is it okay now?
Kalpana madam, your voice is not audible.
Voice is not.
Kalpana madam, please remove your mic. Please remove your mic and use your device mic.
Okay. Is it okay, sir? Am I audible now?
Yes,
Now
yes,
it's-
properly audible.
Okay, fine. A very warm good afternoon to all of you. I am Ms. Kalpana Sahu from the Department of Management, United Institute, to the 58th webinar on role of ethics and human values, role of ethics and values in human life, organized by Department of Management, Synergy Dhanbad, in association with Institutions Innovation Council, New Delhi. We are powered by MSME DI Cuttack and Regional Industry Center, Dhanbad. I'm very glad to inform you that the department is going to organize a webinar week from 5th of July to 9th of July on various emerging topics with noted speakers. Yesterday, we have witnessed a very good session on time management, and the speaker was Mr. Vivek Patnaik, retired IAS and former chairman of OPSC. Today, we are having the session of role of ethics and values in human life by Dr. Ajit Kumar Behura, Professor, Department of HSS, IIT, ISM Dhanbad. On 7 July, we are having the session of schemes of MSMEs with Sri Pawan Kumar Gupta, IETS, Joint Director and Head of Office, MSME DI Cuttack. On 8th of July, we are having the topic Gender Equality with Mrs. Namrata Chadha, the noted social activist. On 9th of July, we are having the most emerging topic during this pandemic, stress management, by Dr. Madhavi Singh from Penn State College of Medicine, USA. Respected speaker of the session, Dr. Ajit Kumar Behura, Professor, Department of HSS, IIT ISM Dhanbad, Sri Vinod Das, and Chairman, Synergy Group of Institutions, Dhenkanal and Bhubaneswar, Dr. Itisri Mohanty, Principal, Synergy Institute of Engineering and Technology, Dhenkanal, Dr. Jogeswari Raut, Principal, Synergy Institute of Technology, Bhubaneswar, Head of the Department, faculty members, representatives of different organizations, participants, and dear students. Now, I would like to request our principal, Dr. Itisri Mohanty, for the welcome address. Ma'am, please.
Thank you, Kalpana. Good afternoon to one and all present over here. In this life, we cannot do great things. We can only do small things with great love. In her quote, Mother Teresa rightfully captures the importance on approaching life, making it all the more fulfilling and significant. Teaching and learning offers numerous opportunities to focus on a number of small things that culminate over time to produce refined students, ones who are prepared to achieve the great things of life. With these few words, I extend my heartiest welcome to the speaker of the day, Dr. Ajit Kumar Behura, Professor, Department of Humanities and Social Sciences, IIT ISM Dhanbad, our beloved chairman, Sri Vinod Das, Chairman cum Managing Trustee, Synergy Group of Institutions, Dhenkanal and Bhubaneswar, Dr. Jogeswari Raut, Principal, Synergy Bhubaneswar, representatives of different organizations, HODs of different departments, students, and all our participants. I hope today's webinar on role of ethics and values in human life is going to be a great takeaway on various aspects. Now I request Kalpana to give the detailed introduction about the speaker of the day. Kalpana, thank you. Kalpana. Hello. Hello.
Kalpana madam.
Yes, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, audible. Please carry on.
Thank you, ma'am. Dr. Ajit Kumar Behura has completed his PhD in philosophy from University of Hyderabad in the year 2001. Then he did his postdoctoral research in philosophy from IIT Kharagpur. He has served as Head Center of Societal Mission, IIT ISM Dhanbad. He has also served as the head of the department, HSS department IIT, and also the coordinator of foreign language course at IIT. Then he has many international and national journals into his credit. Without making any delay, I would like to request Ajit sir for his address. Sir, please.
Thank you, Kalpana ji, for giving this brief introduction. In fact, a very good afternoon to all of you. And Principal, Professor Itisri Mohanty, Kalpana Sahu, all the dignitaries, the respected faculty members, students, and ladies and gentlemen. And today afternoon, I would like to speak. In fact, a few days back, Professor Kalpana ji has, called me and told me to speak on a topic which will be useful for the students and for the entire institute. So we thought we will choose a general topic, which is the role of ethics and the values in human life, how ethics is influences, and the meaning and the significance of ethics for our living life, understanding each and everything. So I thought probably this will be a best topic. So, so that's how we have decided this topic, and we are going to, today I will deliver an hour lecture on this topic. Now, am I audible? Hello?
Yes, sir, you are audible, sir.
Audible. So there is one thing that I used to say. Often I have seen while teaching in the class in this IIT and elsewhere, because before joining over here, I was in US as a faculty for a tenure track position for some time. So when I was teaching there and here in IIT Dhanbad, and even I have seen in Kharagpur and elsewhere also, the same problem, that whenever we give some assignment to our students in the class, so what the students, they are very sincere, they note their head, yes, we will write in a good way, we'll do this and that. But I have seen when towards the end of the semester, when they submit their assignment, or in the midway they submit the assignment, whenever I check their assignment, I see most of the assignments are just copied from some website or maybe from Google or from some books. So they just copied and they just submitted, but they always note their head, they say they know they have put all their effort and they wrote those things. Just to make that assignment, it will hardly take few minutes or maybe half an hour, because they have just copy and they submit it. Okay. Now, I have tried this for the last couple of years, probably more than 10 years, but somehow it was not possible to convince all people in full 100% that this way of doing the assignment or writing a kind of term paper or an article is not the right way. But somehow people they always say yes, but when they do something. No, there is no, integrity, or rather we can say there is no connection between what they say and what they do. That type of problem I have often observed. That is one thing. The second thing, this problem has created really a kind of impact on me, that how to change people. People say one thing, they do another thing. So this is a very serious problem we face, not only in academics, probably we also see it in market, we see it in the business community, we see it in our day-to-day life, family, and other places also. Now, when you go to market, market is a very different type of place, all types of people, all types of products. The thinking is very different, and you have to encounter all different things. Whenever I go to the market, the only problem is how to purchase something from the market. Even if you have money, you cannot, that doesn't guarantee that you will get the type of product you are wishing to get or you are thinking of getting. Because the problem is, the moment you go to the market, anything you ask, they say ये तो सर बहुत बढ़िया है, ये तो बहुत बढ़िया है, बहुत अच्छा है. They don't sell it is bad or this is this and all this. They will always say it is good. And how to know what is good and bad, that is again a very serious thing in the market. You have to have a proper research and understanding on the product. Then only you can know its meaning, its ideas behind each and everything. So I had a very peculiar thing. When I came first time over here, they used to tell each and everything badhiya. So when I bring it back to my room, I see that it is actually not good. It is very spurious, or rather it's not good quality. When they say badhiya, I was under the impression, because that word badhiya is a very different type of word. I don't know. I didn't know the meaning of that earlier. So I used to think, whenever somebody says badhiya, next time I don't go to that shop and purchase those things. Okay. So ultimately, purchasing something is affected because the type of opinion, the type of things what people used to have. Now, the similar things also we have often encountered with the while buying things. I remember long back, I was traveling in a flight where in the Delta Airlines, while going, I met a gentleman who was sitting next to me, and he was one of the the owner of one big textile company, and we both were traveling together. Then I asked him, then when I came to know that he was next to me, so I have the habit of asking questions. I asked, sir, I have few doubts and questions, can I ask? So he was first hesitant, but later on he agreed. Then I asked him, sir, can you tell me that why the cost of these shirts are costing so much in the market? He has just looked at me, little smiled. Then later on, he didn't tell anything. Once again, I asked, sir, I am neither a journalist nor a media person. I am just an academician. Just for my own understanding, I would like to know how much is the cost of this shirt should be. But why in the market, when I go to buy a shirt, it's costing 900, 1,000, 2,000, sometimes even more than 2,000. They quote so much high. Then I asked, then how much should be the cost of the shirt? Then I told, sir, it should not be more than 200-300, or maybe a little less than that. But why the cost of the shirt is 2,000 rupees in the market? Then I am the son of a farmer. I have seen that the only explanation they give in the market is it is a cotton shirt, sir. It is a pure cotton shirt. But the pure cotton cost, being a farmer's family, we sell cotton, which is around 45 rupees per kg. A cotton kilo is 45 rupees to maybe maximum 50 rupees, which is pure cotton. And a cotton shirt, which is only 100 grams or 200 grams, which is costing 2,000 rupees. There must be something wrong in this one. So I asked this question, and there was a genuine doubt in me. And when I asked this question, the gentleman smiled. He told, are you really interested to know about these things? I told him, yes, sir. Then he told me that sometimes you pay 500% to 800% of the real value of the things, then I was more asked to worry that really, am I paying that much money for a small thing? Then he was explaining me the entire thing and all these things. You know, the cotton will cost only 10 rupees because his shirt's cotton is hardly 8 to 10 rupees. Then it is machine made, another 5 rupees because you don't make only one shirt. It is not handmade. It is machine made. Millions of or rather lakhs of meters comes out in a month. And so the cost is not that much, maybe 5 to 10 rupees, another thing. And the transportation also similar, 5 to 10 rupees per each shirt. So certainly the shirt cost will be 50 rupees, make it 100, 200 rupees, but it cannot be 2000 rupees. Whatever may be the cost, it's a large scale, mechanical production, and it won't be. Now, if the market is like this, if the academic institutes are like this, where people copy, where is there, and everywhere there is so much cheating, corruption, unethical lives, then how to get rid of these things? What is the solution for it? Okay. Now, so this question often comes to the mind, that is it the human beings has to do something for it, or shall we completely forget and live with the existing things or whatever is happening all around? So that type of idea is to always the mind, and the answer is always that no, we must get an answer to it, and we must rectify whatever is wrong and find a solution to these things. Now, I don't see any faces, so is it audible, sir? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So if there is any so if there is at least one face is visible, so at least I should see that, because I couldn't able to know that somebody is listening on that. So that is the
Okay, sir.
So so the often this same whenever I'll give you one or two examples, then we'll go to the topic, which will give you a very clear idea about what is this topic is. Whenever I go to the market, there is another problem also I encounter. There is a concept called buy one get one free. I exactly don't understand. If I buy one, who will pay for the second one? What I am getting free? Is it the people? What type of management is this? I don't understand. See, if I buy a product, if the other product is having the same value, then who is paying for these things? This is a very serious question. Often comes to my mind. See, then certainly there is something wrong. So, or the other product's value is already incorporated, and I am getting these things. So, see, certainly if there is gold, somebody will buy one, get one. If it is a 10 grams gold, you buy 10 grams, I will give another 10 grams gold free of cost. Then the entire gold of this earth will be over in no time. Because people will buy each and everything, because it is only 50% the cost. And the same thing happens with the dresses. Same thing happens with most of the products in this. I've seen, or many products in the supermarkets I've seen, buy one, get one free. Or sometimes they announce buy one and get two free. Okay. And the society has come to that level, and we do not even realize that, look, this is the problem. Then I went to one of the very famous, product chain of shops, this garment shop in Dhanbad. Once I saw that earlier they used to write 500 rupees, 600 rupees. Now when I went there, it was written 2100, 3000 rupees, and then 50% concession and all those things it has written. Then I went to that shop owner in the counter. Then I asked him, sir, can you tell me this cost of these products are so high, and again giving 50%, and can you tell me, I am teaching in IIT and I wanted to know the exact things and all these things. Then he told me, sir, what to do. The entire country is like this. They are increasing the cost 3 times, decreasing by maybe 1 time, 2 times, then giving some other things, and that's how the entire country is. And no media is taking care of this, no government is taking care of this. ये तो पूरा तमाशा जैसे चल रहा है. And there is no values, no ethics. They are talking of ethics and values. They are putting the teachers, those who have never studied about the subject and all these things. So how this society will prosper, and how we are going to live? The same thing is reflected in the market, academics, in the villages. 20-30 years back, when the situation was much better, but now situation is becoming day by day. Influence is of the outside world is much worse, and the net result is there is more problem. Okay. Now, what I would like to say, I have just made a small PPT with few things. I'm just sharing this PPT, and just a minute. Is it visible?
Yes, yes, sir.
Now,
Yes, sir, visible.
so this is how ethics and the values place the things. Actually, it could have taken 5 to 6 hours, the entire thing, but I have compressed a few ideas, and if wherever there is some lack in understanding, we can discuss it out depending on the question. Now, the presentation is that how these ethics and the values are related, and how they influence our life, and who we are. Okay. Now, the presentation is like this. Why do we need ethics and the values? What is ethics? Of course, there are theories and the principles, standards, and maybe a little bit because it is India. So Indian ethics, most of the things are Western and European. So some ideas about the Indian ethics also, I have put it inside. Now, so if we see, because I was giving these examples in all these examples, you can find that we want, or we should do our action in such a way that whatever be the consequence, or whatever be the product or byproduct, everything has to be very good, and all these things. Okay, and that should be the thing. If I buy a shirt, it should last not only for 1 year, it should last for a couple of more years, so that it will have more value. And if I do some construction, and the house should last at least 2 to 300 years, or maybe 400-500 years, so that the next generation should not put their effort in this type of action. Rather, they should do some more constructive work. But often when we ask the construction people, I have asked the contractors over here, they ask, sir, how old is this building? Now it's already 20 years, sir. Its lifetime is over. It should be demolished, and a new building should be constructed. Only 20 years, 25 years, 30 years maximum. So our actions are like this. It is just use and throw. Then it will not give us. The human values has to be taken in such a way that which will, at least appreciate, or at least understand, and be conscious about that long-lasting qualities, excellency, the best, the enduring things. It is depending on the permanency only. So the values are determined. Even in the material value of a thing, you can see the brass and the gold, both the things looks little similar. Now the problem is, once value is almost 50,000 rupees per 10 grams, the other 10 grams is almost nothing. It is only because the one thing is more enduring, and it has more luster. It doesn't get affected by the other things. It has more intrinsic value than the other one. Now, that is the thing. We must get into those qualities which things are more permanent, more enduring in that inner core values, and that ought to be part of the society and part of the culture, and then the entire culture will develop, and in a long run it will have a better sense. Now, Why this values? Now, man is a rational animal, a social being. His actions influences others. His judgments and the rights and wrong passed on the consequences of these actions. So because we are a social being and we live in the society, our social norms and things are more important. So ethics is the study of what is right and wrong, good and bad of the human conduct and the human action, both mental and the physical action. And physical actions are nothing but the extension of our thought. So therefore, human conduct and the human actions, what is right and wrong, is the study of ethics. So ethics deals with what is right and what is wrong, what is right and what is wrong, what is good and what is bad. Now, where from exactly this word ethics has come? The ethics in a, I would like to say from the beginning, ethics and morality, both the words for a general purpose, we use as synonym and all. Ethics, if they interchangeably we use, ethics is for morality, for ethics. But for very special purpose, so people, those who are in more into this, the subject and the academic research, for them, both the words, there is a very thin, clear-cut demarcation, this separation, where ethics deals with some of the core principles and all. No, the morality, whereas ethics deals with the application part, or the things which changes depending on the situation, time to time, place to place. In the sense, I'll tell you, the 30 to 40 years back, or maybe 100 years back, certain rules and the regulations, principles of society, which were there, that is no more today, that has changed. Not abruptly, slowly, that has changed. New things are incorporated, old things are getting phased out slowly. Because as the society changes with scientific invention, with social understanding, so the ethics also changes. But the basic moral principles are there: speak the truth, pay your debt, and the 10 commandments, those things do not change. They are always, because intrinsically they have so much inherent in their values, those things are intact. Okay. So therefore, this difference is there between those things. Now, ethics comes from this, all those Greek word, ethos, which means customs, and which generally expands the connection, includes all types of actions. Okay. That means which covers willingly, consciously, and the sense of possible consequences. Okay, we do certain actions which has consequences, whether the action as such contains or the consequence contains, depending on the understanding, depending on the type of society, and depending on the type of person, everything is decided. That we will discuss in our later slides. And it also have the power behavior. Now, there are two choices we have as a human being. We have responsible, rational beings, and so when you are responsible, then you have perfection in human conduct. Okay, and or either you live in that way or live like a lead a life of instinct, ignoring the rationality of whatever you want, you do it. A least understanding of what is human freedom. You can see most of the society outside. Today, you can see many things that people often don't understand what is rationality, the perfection in human character or conduct. So that also, so these two choices. Hello. Ethics is actually the study of the values, human values, which aims to evaluate the human conduct in terms of good and bad, how to decide which action is good, which action is right, so that we can do this action. There are thousands of actions, how to decide these actions as good or bad. And so this is a very Herculean task. It's a big task to find out. And people will always justify their action as good. They will tell you, oh, this is my action. Whatever I do, I will do it. Who are you to, interfere? They will ask you. But we are part of the society. We are connected. The action will affect the why. Why is the action will affect me? So I being part of the society, how to live when people want absolute autonomy without taking into uh, account the human rationality or the responsibility. No one wants to take a responsibility, but they wanted to take the fruit of the society. That is the problem which often comes. So therefore, finding the standards of the society, what is right and wrong, is a very difficult question. Now, you can see the third line in that thing. So the basic concepts like goodness, duty, responsibility, justice, virtue, conscience, etc. are ethical in nature. Why they are ethical in nature? This is something to be studied. Now, at least, so for a common man, there are few things one has to understand, that the ethics is something which is the right and the good. Okay, anything whatever is beneficial and gives a good result and which is approved by the society or the most of the people appreciate it, they are called good action. Okay, and any action which is not, doesn't give a good things, and it is a time tested things which is not giving a good things, and we prescribe others, tell people, no, you do not do this XYZ because it is not conducive for the society, for oneself, for the family. So, and those are, and so ethics deals with those things. So ethics investigates all aspects of human conduct, okay, from the ethical point of view, whether it is right or wrong. So ethics not only judging and estimating the normal qualities of human conduct, it also reflects on the nature of human values, which type of values we are dealing with. They are there in the subsequent slides. So ethics is both critical and objective evaluation of the conduct performed by human beings and all, how a human being does his action, whether it is objectively, whether it is ethical or not. Now, they say the man who lives away from the society, he need not be ethical, because in any case it is not going to affect his life and all this thing, because we are living in the society, and there are other members in the society who constantly observe us and see us, our actions are properly judged. So therefore ethics is needed. So ethics deals with the human conduct, but not the human behavior. Human behavior becomes a part of the psychology, and we are not dealing with human behavior, which is more into the physical aspect of this. It is more into the mental willingness, something of an human understanding part it deals with. So conduct refers to the voluntary human actions. Whatever you perform conscious, somebody who is a lunatic, who is having madness, he cannot or she cannot do. It is rather somebody who is doing voluntarily, knowingly, willingly, a conscious human being, and which has possible consequences, and that is called that is the part of this human actions. Now, so the thing is, so there are a few moral presuppositions or ethical presuppositions. The freedom of will, there has to be given enough freedom to choose the type of action you are going to perform, then only it will be either good and bad. If you are not free, you are chained, then the concept of ethics loses its meaning over there. So freedom of choice between right and doesn't exist. Moral responsibility cannot be imposed. So there can be legal responsibility, can be moral responsibility. It comes from within, from inside. Okay. Now, if you see the historical views, you can come to know the ethical standards have changed, because I told you from time to time it changes, where there is a kind of evolution, or rather a kind of internal involution which happens to the human beings in their understanding, and they speak out the ideas, things, and which from it springs continuously with new ideas, with new understanding, and therefore the things which are handed down from generation to generation and the approved ways of doing is called customs, because it is not possible in a lifetime we can study and see things, each and everything. So therefore certain things we accept because they are sanctified by the customs or our tradition, and they are kind of standards and all. I do certain things, whatever my society accepts it, imposes on me, because I think they are good, because there are thinkers and there are philosophers, there are, all those intellectuals, and they have studied, they have understood its meaning, and whatever they have prescribed, we accept it. So society, so therefore each and everybody cannot study, cannot speculate, cannot rationalize. So therefore society enforces a kind of customary standards and all these things. It becomes part of the customs, therefore it has to be forcefully injected, prescribed to all its members by public opinion, taboos, certain things we should do, we should not do, rituals, and then even the by physical force, legal force, and by government actions. So all those things are part of it because they are part of this customs. Now, there are also problems. There are few things people, those who wanted to, deviate, those who wanted to create problem, what they do, and they put the social customs, certain things which are not good, they force them into the customs and all. Okay, and once they force them into the custom, they become part of the custom, which confuses, creates problem in the society. Now, these customs proves to be great binding force, unified for integrating this our social lives, because a small baby or a normal human being, suppose take for example when they have not studied much, but this custom is unified. Whatever knowledge and wisdom it receives from the society acts as a a binding force for him or her. So development of customs and their enforcement is a preparation for the next stage of morality. This is the initial stage of morality for a normal human being. Now, the next stage, the customs could not cope with the rapid changes with the conditions. And so therefore, what happens? The customs are often more the trivial, and many more problems comes, and customs cannot deal with a society which is very fast changing, and there is a kind of fear and resentment, and it goes sometimes against the human freedom. That type of problem also we encounter. Okay, now if I quote John Dewey, the famous sociologist, the complete morality is reached only when just a minute. Only when the individual recognizes the rights and the choices, the good freely, and devotes himself heartily to its fulfillment, and seek a progressive social development in which every member of the society shall share. Okay. Now, the next point which comes, there is a transition from customs to conscience, because once you study more, you contemplate, you come to a stage where the customary things you understand, then you go one step ahead, you go to the conscience. You start thinking whether something is right or not. Okay. Now, those things comes in the second level. Now, second thing, values are relative to space, time, and the conditions. That also I told earlier, that 100 years back, certain things which were there, they have been changing because of the certain things which are practiced in the remote areas of African continent, and they are not there in India or elsewhere in Europe, because there is a space difference, and conditions of the people also they have the problem. Okay, and there is a gradual shift from outside to the moral authority inside of the individual. Once the individual grows, so there becomes some understanding about the moral principles and all. So what happens from now he will be dealing more into the inner structure of his being, will dictate him, do this, because this is a good action from within, not from outside. So from the custom which is imposed externally to, we go to something which is internal, and which is a very essential thing in our understanding. Okay. Now, now if you see the present situation, today the morality is largely a matter of the customs. Only a few individuals reflect this matter. There is no time. We are more busy with market economy. We are more busy with the physical production. The human development has taken a back seat. It is very less number of people they go into this reflecting on moral issues or the human development in a true sense of the term, and rather we are more into the material development or is market-driven society. And there could be more chaos and confusion and stability everywhere. The questions of the norms of right and wrong. So many moral matters which prevail at the present must be originated in the reflection of some of the individuals in the past. Now, unless we do it now, that things will not develop something in the future. Because whatever we have seen, and it has been developed through the customary the thinking or the reflection of the past. Still, we have the Aristotelian, Platonic, or few European thinkers and philosophers' ideas. Still, we do it. We do not say in the last 100 years any Indians we have done anything which has gone to the books and all. Very rarely we find such ideas and that problem. Now, in framing moral norms, man means human beings is to be guided by culture as well as a new concept of values for rational social relationship. Okay. And so there has to be guided by the culture as well as a new concept of the values, because there are certain things which are fully new, they are not already incorporated in the customs or in our culture. So both the things has to be taken simultaneously. So the moral crisis today is because there is a transitional phase. In a way, if you just see, it is always a transitional phase because it's changing. The society's continuous change there is. So we have to always consider both backside and the things which is going to come, both the things. Now, there is a solution to it, that to give a greater emphasis on the importance of these moral values. And ethics is a scientific study of the values must be given a important place and in the scheme of the knowledge, but we normally in our society is not that developed, so therefore we do not give more to the human development, we more give to the material development. That is one problem what we normally encounter. So morality is essential for happiness, okay, because the things which are immoral in the long run, they may not produce some happiness or may not give the goodness to the individual or to the society. So the idea of the greatest good for greatest number should guide us at the present times. The Bentham or Mill's concept, it is there. So the utilitarian concept, the greatest good for the greatest number, at least if we do not study or we do not go very deep into those concepts, at least this type of little understanding can help us. Now what is ethics then? We'll go into a little more into it. Okay. Now the ethics is actually a discipline of moral or a branch of philosophy. It's the study of the moral philosophy. It asks about certain things about the good and bad, duty, integrity, virtue, justice, good life, and number of other virtues like Aristotelian virtues like wisdom, prudence, justice, fortitude, strength, courage, liberty, magnificence, magnanimity, temperance. Many more things are included in all these things, and so those things also can be included. So ethics is there are 4 different types of studies and all, but for this present purpose, we will take only one. So ethics is the standard of conduct which distinguishes between what is right and wrong and good and bad, and we will be discussing. Now ethics, if you see this classification, I've just done last night, this one. So it deals with, if you see the philosophy, it has metaphysics, epistemology, axiology, and again metaphysics is divided into other smaller divisions, epistemology too also divided. Then the last one, you can see axiology, which is called the theory of values, that what is valuable in our life. Okay, it has so many divisions, but the major two divisions I had given, aesthetics and ethics. There is logic is also there in these things. Okay, now why it is under philosophy and all these things will take much more time and to discuss it out. So I'll, for the present, I'll skip these things, but I'll go to the next slide. Now, the moral philosophy is more of a normative, non-descriptive, that to do with how we ought to live or how the society ought to be structured. And it is not a descriptive science, it is a prescriptive science. We cannot say whether it is good or bad. Suppose if I tell, look, there is a sunrise, we go and look at the window. If there is sunrise, we'll tell, yes, the statement, there is sunrise in the morning, then this is true or false. But ethical statements, help the, be good to yourself. It is neither true nor false. It's a kind of prescriptive statement. It's not a descriptive statement. So the inner structure of the ethical statements are totally different, but we normally discuss in a different forum. So the person which is asking an ethical question, he is asking a normative justification or a prescriptive justification for a particular course of action, whereas a physical study or a scientific study, which is about the facts and the explanations, not values, okay, and the justifications, they are about a factual understanding. So the factual understanding and normative understanding, both are different. A normative justification, a factual justification, both are different. So this is, when we understand this, then we can understand that how ethics is a very soft talent, soft thing, which can be only one thing catch we need is understanding. Okay. Now, so ethics is, again, it has a very different type of division what we normally see in our many books, in our daily understanding, living. So they are into normative, meta, and applied. Normative, which is basically about the theoretical ethics, which deals with what is right and wrong found in individual behavior. Metaethics deals with the more into the origin of this concept, whether it is from this worldly, whether it is from some other world, or whether it is mental, or where it comes from. So these things comes in the metaethical studies. And the third thing is applied areas, because when new things are coming and new ideas are coming, and there is new scientific development, each day there is a new idea, new things. So more and more new problems we encounter, because there are new problems are there, and so therefore there is a related to that a corresponding ethics which will deal with that new problem. Okay, and so those are called the applied areas, the applied ethics. Okay, and for example, scientific ethics, environmental ethics, business ethics, medical ethics, war ethics, so many are there in different areas there. Now, normative, these are the same thing. Research ethics also is a branch of applied ethics that studies the ethical problems, dilemmas, issues which arise in the conduct of the research or conduct of the education, what we study, why we have so much problem in this education sector, because the ethical standards, the ethical rules and the regulations we do not obey. We have many engineering colleges. You can know that type of problems what we encounter. Okay, so those things you yourself can reflect and understand. Okay, now we do not regard any single ethical theory as true or correct. It is not like a scientific study where they will say, look, this is correct. If heliocentric is there, there is another is quantum physics has come. If one is gone, the other one is okay, accepted. But now over here in ethics, no. In 5,000 years, even till today, that I will only tell you these are the different types of ethical theories which will tell you what is your good and values, what is good and what is bad, what is right and what is wrong. Without telling this is right and this is wrong, I will not tell you these things. I will tell you, आपको ये accept करना है तो this will be the result. If you accept the other one, that will be the result. Okay. So true and the correct. Okay. That we do not say. Many different ethical theories capture different insights about the nature of morality. There are certain theories, but we will be seeing in the next slide about the consequences of the action. Some other things, the intrinsic nature of the action as such, they also see into this. And some other things they see about the virtues which are inherent in these actions. So some theories focus on moral rules, some others focus on moral virtues, and some theories emphasize on the individual rights and stress on the good of the society, and many more. And now you can see these ethical theories. And sir, how much time is left? Half an hour? We can go?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. Whenever it is over and you feel you have another assignment, you can just tell me to stop. Otherwise, I'll continue. Okay. Now, so the ethical theories, when we see, there are few. There are broadly, there are more than 200 reasons are there, but I have just made it just to show few broad ones. Now, there is a ethics of conduct and ethics of character, and what sort of actions we perform is one. The second one is what sort of people we should be. Okay, there is a big difference between these two things. One group of philosophers or the ethicists think that what type of ethics deals with the type of action we perform. Okay, what type of action we do. Okay, whether our action is good or bad, right or wrong. Okay, other type of people don't know. Ethics deals with the type of character, what type of person we are. Okay, whether we are the right kind of person or not, and it doesn't depend on the action rather than the person concerned. Okay, now the people those who say ethics deals with the action, and there are broadly two types. One is called the consequentialist. They say your action is right, or your right action is the one that produces most intrinsic good. Okay, and the other says the good is defined independently of the. Now I'll explain you with examples. Now take for example. Okay, now Alpana ji, hello.
Yes, sir.
Kalpana ji, yours is management institute or engineering? Hello, it's not audible. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Engineering institutes. Now I'll tell you. So engineering means which engineering? You have petroleum mining? No.
No. Petroleum and mining is in no, not here.
Oh, that is not there.
We have
Okay.
also, yes, sir. In the participants, we have also management students.
Okay, no. I'm talking petroleum mining is there? No, geology, no.
Sir, mining diploma is there, not
Mining diploma. Okay, all right. Okay. No, I'm just. I wanted to just give one example. Now, take for example, suppose management. Okay, it's a very nice thing. People study things. Maybe you have a computer science. Is there computer engineering? Is there?
Yes, sir.
Computer science.
Yes,
is there.
sir.
Oh, it's an excellent thing. So computer science is there. Now it will be explained. The Synergy Institute is very good, excellent place. It's in Dhanbad, very lush, green, beautiful environment faculties are excellent, place is good, everything is good, and it will be advertised. Okay, now we'll see so many students are coming, they are joining the institute.
Sir, it seems you are disconnected. Your voice is disconnected, sir.
So you may be disconnected. Okay, sir, I'm just making a call. Sir will be just joining in 1 minute.
Okay, okay, madam.
So now the participants, they can raise their questions in the chat box. Participants having any kind of question, you can put that in the chat box because it's almost half of the presentation is over.
Sir, you are unmute. Sir, please unmute yourself. Sir, unmuted.
Is it okay now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. Sorry for the inconvenience. So, so take for example in our place, if the faculties are good, suppose take for example petroleum as a discipline, and where the professors are good, the subject is good, and we have a good infrastructure, and the faculties teach very well, and the subject also excellent subject, and but if in the advertisement it will be written petroleum as a product from nature got over, so therefore there are no jobs in petroleum. Do you think anyone who will come through IIT JEE, they are going to join in petroleum? Department? Hello?
No, sir. If it is mentioned, then nobody is going to.
No one will going to join. So the thing is, if the subject is good, department is good, each and everything is good, 4 years of rigorous education is good, hostel food, each and everything is good, only except the last product, end product is the consequence. The last product is that there is no job, then no one is going to join. All these things has no value for people or the students or the parents, because the last product is not good. Now, you can see in these ethical theories, the first one is called consequentialism in the slide. The right action is the one that produces the most intrinsic good, which is the end product. The last consequence is good, everything is good. So most of the parents, they do not see what is good, what is bad. I'll tell you what is happening. They study petroleum, they don't study any human beings. They do not study in poetry and music. They are more into the intrinsic value of a human person. You see, suppose night 2 o'clock, if I say people that somebody is going to teach petroleum engineering, no student will come. They will kick on our face and go. Okay, if night 2 o'clock, we will inform them that there is a orchestra going on, there is a music concert going on, you will see that all people will get up, or most of the people will get up and come, because there is a difference between these two. If music is that attractive, if the poetry is that attractive, painting is that attractive, they are part of aesthetics, then why don't most of the people study that? They study petroleum, coal, and always erosion, and they study all these things, and the electronics, electrical things getting shock all the time. I don't understand. It is because there is, you can see that the consequentialism is a theory which says the end product is good, everything is good. Okay. Now, if the end product is good, in the sense, if you study petroleum, just in 4 years, you will get a very lucrative job in Gulf or in India or any other good countries with a very bad salary. If you study poetry, you may not get a job. So the end product is not good. So therefore, things are good. This is what is happening in most of the cases. So therefore, we do not study good things. We study the things which are just for our material benefit. Because it is for our material benefit, then how can there a society will be good? Certainly, society cannot be good, but society will have material benefits, material prosperity. This is the thing. Okay. Now, if you go to the second option, which is written deontology, which said good is defined independently of right, what is and right and wrong, because the action itself contains the goodness in it. I am not bothered about what is the end product, end job. I do the action, okay, because the action as such contains the goodness in it. It is good, therefore I do it, because goodness will not come towards the end, but goodness contains, it's part of it. It is part of it. Okay. I study petroleum as an engineering because the subject itself is good. Whether I will get a job or not, that is a different thing. What normally people don't go for it. Now, I help a person who met an accident on the road, because not that to the end, once he will get cured, he will give me 1 lakh rupees. No, the action of doing and helping him, taking him to the hospital, is an action itself contains the goodness in it. Therefore, I do that action. Okay. Now, if that is the case, then which type of things you would choose? But most of the things we do in our education the other way around. Therefore, we have many problems. Now, again, if you go to the ethical consequentialism, there is ethical egoism, utilitarianism, and then again we have altruism. So many other divisions are there. What you will discussing, but I don't think will be much time. And deontology, again, which has a few. One of the major division is called Kantianism, which says action must satisfy a categorical imperative, means a kind of universal acceptance or universal notion of the rule or the law, and it must be satisfied that, then only it can be a proper act. actions. Now, if you see the other divisions where it says what sort of people we should be, they say we are not much bothered about the type of action what we do in our ethics and the values. Rather, we are more bothered about what type of person we are. Now, you have seen these movies, 1970s, 80s, 90s. Some of the movies we see there is a protagonist, there is an antagonist, there is a hero, and there is a villain. Okay. Now, a person. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
So at least some face should be visible. Now nothing is visible, so I feel that it's not. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so
You are absolutely audible. Please continue.
Kalpana, so Kalpana ji, it's like this. That often what is happening, we see in the movies there are two types of people. There is a hero, there is a villain. There is a positive characters, there is a negative character. In the positive character, what happens that we often see that we do not see the type of action that person do. We see what type of people they are. Now you see, when the villain will go and kill people and torture people, we feel being part of this. When we are inside the movie hall, we feel so much worried and all these things because the villain is killing people, innocent people. We get emotionally charged. Okay. And when we see if killing is a bad action, if the hero going and killing the villain, we feel relaxed. If killing is a bad action, how can our emotional things get totally बहुत अच्छा हो गया क्योंकि the villain got died. So over there it is because it is not the type of action we are judging the type of people. So the type of character, we feel the hero is a positive, it's a noble character. Whatever action he is doing, depending on the context he is doing, probably that is the best type of action he is performing. Okay, fine. So now, so this is a thing that we feel the type of character we should develop. Now, to our children, also, many of the people, you can see this McIntyre and other people at MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, they have been doing a lot of research on the, this virtue ethics, which is more about this character of the people. So virtue means which is the leaving both the extremes. If you read this Aristotelianism, you will come to know. So what they say, we approach this approach to our children that we inculcate the virtues from the beginning in such a way that by default, whatever action they will do, that will become an ethical action. Okay, because in hero also same thing. If the hero will perform some action, by default it will become a good action. Even if it is a bad action, we are not bothered about it because the person is a good person. Okay, so we teach our children that the virtues, because we think that they will be a virtuous person. Whatever actions springs from their heart or springs from them will be a good action as such. Okay, now this type of differences are there in the ethical theories, which has again overlapping, risk rushing. There are different permutations and combinations. At last, it will be hundreds of thousands of classifications are there. So that thing will be a people, those who are going more into that research. Okay, now, so Kantian things, as I have already told, the ethical conduct is a matter of choosing the lives of ones according to the moral principles or the rules. And so the Kant's main thing is that the moral person is an autonomous agent and he has the right to decide. You have seen many people in Indians, often they used to say, look, USA things are not good and all these things. The parents and all, the parents cannot beat their children. The moment you beat your son and daughter a slap, you will go to jail. Okay, because the problem is the person is autonomous. He is having, total autonomy. You cannot impose your things on them. Okay, na? In our Indian society, it is totally different because our culture is totally different. Okay, so moral agents are autonomous. So insofar as they can choose to live according to the moral rules. So motives of the agents as a great deal. Okay, how you think, what is the motive? Who has killed the person is not important. Who is the person whose mind is behind that killing is more important. So one should do the right action for the right reason, which is more important as per the Kantian things, and which will lead to moral imperatives, categorical imperative. Those who want to do further research and understanding, they can do that. Okay. I have also related a little bit according to Immanuel Kant, the great German philosopher. So the categorical imperative means one should act in a way that one should conduct should be universal law. That means if I act, if I am telling something to somebody, helping somebody or scolding somebody, then I should do the way. Had I been in that position, probably I would have expected myself to be treated in that way. Okay, you should keep yourself in that type of things, and so that, and can your thought be appreciated by everyone? Can it become a universal law? If it is not a universal law, then it is case to case basis. It is varies. Then all types of problems starts. Okay, so that will become a problem. So one should always be an end in itself, never be as a means. See, the second type of categorical imperative is always be an end in itself, whatever you do, not as a means. The basic insight here is all the problems in human beings, all the problems in the society, because we use the other things. Okay, use products, physical things, human beings, manipulate, abuse, harm, exploit, deceive. Entire history is like that. Entire modern society is like that, and modern culture is like that. Only they have this polythene signing things, inside things are not good. Okay. This is the problem of these things. So Kantian things are not properly followed. Okay. Now, the second thing is utilitarianism, which says that produce the best overall consequence for the most people, anything which gives the best result, and that is the good. I was giving that example earlier, and which says that the greatest utility of the greatest number is the things. Okay. Now, this is the natural law, which says life, happiness, health, pleasure, normally they are good, and whereas other things like suffering, disease, pain, death, and they are naturally evil, and it is the human beings, they avoid the pain things, and anything whatever is good they accept. So our basic ethical duty is to perform actions which promote the things which are naturally good and avoid the things which are naturally bad. That is the natural law. Okay. Now, virtue theory. Now, virtue theory focuses more on the developing a kind of good character traits, develop the type of moral character traits, and by practicing them. It is not by knowing them, which will not help you. It is rather you have to practice that. I'll tell you. Have you seen that we in Korea we do that table? Korea we do table that Onikia. Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Ponikia.
Ponikia, we do it. That's what my son was doing. 50 up to 50 is minimum these days. I have seen some of the IIT students do up to 100. Okay. So I asked some of the, but in our time, I know up to 20, 25 we do. Okay, then, and so that is there. There you can find. If you know there is something called this type of table or panitia, then it won't be of any help. What will happen? You have to practice it. You have to go into it. You have to, and the moral characters are like that. You make your children practice it from the beginning, so that by default they will be morally a good person. Okay, this is called virtue theory. The virtues has to be inculcated. It has to be developed. It has to be, cultivated inside this. Okay, honesty. Like I had given the example, a person who acts honestly develops a virtue of honesty. Person who performs courageous activity, he develops a virtue of courage, and so on. Aristotelian thoughts are also similar way. Okay, now natural rights also. John Locke's theory in American constitutions, they have given the rights to life, liberty, property, freedom, and expression, freedom of religion. They are there because they are some of the basic rights, and they should be natural. So we should not interfere on those things. Okay. And then comes social contract of the Thomas Hobbes and all these things. They say because the world is like this, people, no one likes the other, and there is a in the civil society or good society, there is everyone is war for all against all. There is nasty, brutal, and wrong things. So therefore, we have some kind of conventions and some kind of agreements between people, so that let us do such that you don't slap me, I will not slap you, let us live together, okay? And let us, so a society, it is a mutual advantageous kind of things, and people live happily. So this type of theory is also there, people develop, okay? And now, apart from these theories, again, there are many more smaller theories are there and all. We will not go into it. But there are certain things are which are called the ethical principles. Ethical theories will be much more complex and going into it. And many people, they may not be in a position to follow. Best thing is to follow 4 general rules. They are called the ethical principles. Okay. Just if you do not know ethics, follow those 4 things, then probably it is enough for our understanding and for our life. The principles are there, they're easy to understand and apply, they are widespread, they have a intuitive support. Anyone, even if they do not know and study, but they still support. The first one is called autonomy. Autonomy, which is not followed in any of the academic institutions, I'll tell you. Anyone who is a boss, he will create problem to the subordinates, often except some exceptions, which is there. Now, allow rational individuals to make decisions concerning their own affairs and act on them. Lead them. They will flourish in their own way. They will do their best things. Okay. And don't, compress them. Don't tie them. Don't lock them in some kind of activity. A rational individual understands the difference between right and wrong, can apply the information to different choices in the light of his or her values and the goals. Respecting the autonomy includes the respecting the previous decisions made by the rational individuals. Okay, if a previous character has done something, or the previous vice chancellor has done something, the present one will come and he will remove that, he will change it. Nothing. Another vice chancellor will come, he will change that one, he will make another one and all. So the basic understanding of this autonomy is there. They allow, respect that one, then only things will be respected. Okay. Now, this is the first one. The second one is called non-maleficence. Okay, which means do not harm yourself or others. This will take away many wrong things. Make it a point that I will neither harm me nor harm others. Whatever may be the case, you will find one will be. The second one is just the opposite. The promote your own well-being and well-being of others. Okay. And promote your well-being. It was there in some form or other in Indian traditions and all those things. And now the last one is, the fourth one is treat people fairly, which is not visible in many societies. Formal principles, okay, formal principles such as treat the equals equally, unequally, give people what they deserve. If you don't give them, what will happen? There will be much discontent, much problem, and there will be social imbalance. Okay, fine. Now, again, there will be something when we study. There will be some moral standards. How to decide? Who decides? What is the standard? And all these things. Whether the individual concern will decide, whether the society will decide, who is going to decide? Okay, so all those things are very critical questions, which is often we discuss. Shall we continue this part?
Yes, sir. Actually, we can just wind up our presentation over here because we have many questions to discuss also.
All right,
so
all right.
We can take the questions.
Okay, so the moral standard part.
We can wind up over here.
Okay, all right. So standard for. All right. So thank you all for these things and all that. If you have any question, kindly
yes,
ask.
Sir. So thank you very much for your eye-opening presentation. It was indeed a different perception towards human life. And again, listening to you after many times, it was just back to that IIT Kharagpur campus. It was just a feeling like that. Okay, so now I'd like to request our participants to put questions. Because during your presentation also we have received some questions. So first question is that Dr. Dhal Samant, he is one of our professors. So he has raised a very good question. that I think it's mostly God-fearing people who can respect ethics. So your comment
Okay.
on that? That those who
Yeah.
are God-fearing people, they follow ethics.
All right. Okay, fine. That's what I was telling. In the presentation, you can see that one can be perfect. Just listen to this statement. One can be perfectly ethical without believing the concept of God also. Okay. I can be perfectly good without following any religion or going into any temple or any place. Okay, I will do all good things, but I will not follow any religion. Is it possible? Is it possible logically? Suppose I will do whatever good I will do to my neighbor. I will do good to my colleagues, my students, my children, everything do, but I will not believe in God. Is it possible or not?
No,
It's
because
possible.
when
So,
no, it's sir, actually, sir, you please focus it more on that. Is it perception related or else it's just belief?
See, it is like this because people sometimes what they do. See, we being a part of the Odia family, okay, we believe it. The moment we get up in the morning, we go to Lord Jagannath's photo or Devi Mangala, we go and we do it. No doubt about it. We perceive and we do it and all these things. But somehow I feel that it is perfectly all right, even if when there is a world which is made by God, the principles are made by Rita. You know that this Rita and Satya. If you read this Indian concepts and all, the God has given enough freedom to this world, and you don't have to go and do you think a person who is going to Jagannath temple every day, morning and every evening, and doing all injustice, killing people, and another person who is not going to Jagannath temple anytime, but he is performing all virtuous acts, whom the Jagannath will support? Tell me.
The
So
second one, of course.
of course, second one. So it is logically possible that we do not have to. It is only our belief that we think that okay, believe in God. Okay, if you are believing in God, it is right. There is something extra is there, and all is fine. Probably you have seen maybe in your dreams, in your intuition, in your perception, something is there, and somebody who is not having that is not there. But one can be perfectly good to others without having these things. I feel in that way. But
okay, thank you.
Yes, but if you believe God, probably it is an extra added things. Thank you.
We have another question that corruption in our country is high like anything. So no ethics is they are in high position as well. So what is the solution? If the upper part of the society or the people, those who are in higher position, if they are not following ethics, then what can be the solution? Probably sir has got disconnected. Hello.
Kalpana.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Just tell Dalsamanta nothing called God fearing. It's a God loving. Nobody fears the God. Everybody loves the God. God को भल पाइबा दरकार. God को डरिबा दरकार नहीं. भगवान को. तेणु धड़ासामंत को आज तो चेंज कर दे. भगवान को न डरी कि भगवान को भल पान.
Just joined.
Okay.
नहीं, I am listening since last half an hour. Absolutely excellent presentation, sir.
Sir, thank you, sir.
Sir, beautiful, absolutely excellent presentation. Very informative, very absolutely eye-opener. Absolutely, we are extremely grateful to you, sir. Please go ahead, sir.
Madam, what was the second question? Can you tell me, because there was some
corruption in the country is increasing day by day, and the people, those who are in higher position, they are not following ethics. So what can be the solution for them? Those who are not following ethics and being in higher position.
Ma'am, I'll just tell you how it's happening. I told you that there is one thing. There is in the ethical theories we saw, there are two things. One is called consequentialism. The other one is called deontology. People do not follow the deontological things. They do not appreciate things as it is. Rather, what they do, they see what is the end product, what is the last outcome, what is there. People are not bothered about which way I get money. They rather bother that getting money is more important, whether by killing somebody or doing robbery or something. Getting money is more important in that. So the society, gives importance to getting money. Society is not giving which way, and the which way getting, even though it is emphasizing on that, but that is not visible, and people often do the that problem. Now the ultimately what is happening. So see, I was giving the example, people do not study about the ethics, people do not study about the music. You hardly find people studying music, but you will find the only engineering colleges are there. They wanted to study electronics, they wanted to study mechanical things because they wanted to have a end product and the job, the things. And therefore, when they do not study the things what they are supposed to study for the human development, understanding, the rational understanding of the society, man, the world, the universe, the universal notions or the eternal knowledge, the things of great, nobility, understanding. So when they don't study, so that is lacking in the society, which results. Of course, there are other things also. So this also multiplies with the ignorance, and ultimately there is more corruption in the society. Not only upper level, it is in the ground level. I have seen in the villages also. You can see there is a lot of culture which has come just by seeing the TV ads, external things, and all these things. Within the 20 years, I see this. There is a liquor culture which is there in the villages, which used to be very clean some 20 to 25 years back. So those type of things, I feel maybe.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for doubt clearing session. In fact, I say that whatever has been mentioned in the presentation, again, that has been more clarified over here. So we are towards the end of the session. Now I'd like to request Professor Dr. Jayashree Singh, HOD, Department of Physics, to offer the vote of thanks. Ma'am, please. All the participants, the feedback form is there in the chat box. You can just fill the feedback form. Participants are requested to fill the feedback form from the chat box. Just madam, please respond.
Just a minute, Kalpana. Okay. Am I visible?
Yes, ma'am. Please continue.
Yes, ma'am.
Am I audible and visible both?
Yes, ma'am. Both.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Kalpana. Thank you very much. A very good evening to all of you present over here. Respected Chairman and Managing Trustee, Sri Binod Das, Principal Dr. Itishri Mohanty, Principal Dr. Jogeshwari Raut, Honorable Speaker of the Day, Professor Dr. Ajit Kumar Behura, distinguished guests, professors, ladies and gentlemen, with my dear students. On behalf of the entire Synergy fraternity, I want to convey my sincere gratitude to the Speaker of the Day, Professor Dr. Ajit Kumar Behura. Sir, you have given your precious time to us from your busy schedule. Thank you, sir. This is, we know this is a very beautiful topic. The topic is role of ethics and values in human life. The more and more we are growing mentally and physically, professionally also, the more and more we are apart from the goal of ethics and humanity. So your beautiful explanations gives you some insight towards what is ethics. So the system of principle which helps us to identify the difference between right and wrong, to identify what is good and what is bad, what to do, what not to do, and how to set some problems for ourselves so that we can help ourselves along with the entire society. So as the society is changing from time to time, we have to take right decision, frame our own behavior, and there's implement our actions also. So AICT and BPUT has made this topic mandatory nowadays for the technical universities through 21 days induction training program. Therefore, thank you, Kalpana, for choosing such a nice and interesting topic. Next to that, after that, I want to convey my sincere thanks to our chairman and managing trustee, Sri Binod Das. Sir, you have always motivated us to participate and organize such webinars to enhance and update our knowledge and skill. Thank you, Principal Madam and Kalpana with your team. That your beautiful topic you have selected, that is very kind for all the students and the teachers too. Thank you for coordinating your team and making this event successful one. Thank you all the participants to participate in this webinar to make it successful, and thank you all.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for your kind words. Ending of the session, I'm announce that our session will continue up to 9th of July. Tomorrow also we are having a very good session. That's on schemes of MSMEs, where Mr. Pavan Kumar Gupta will address the session. IEDS and Head of the Office, Joint Secretary MSME GI Cuttack, he will address the tomorrow session. So I request all the participants to join tomorrow and also enrich the session. So for today, this much. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Kalpana. Thank you.
So we are just wind it up now. Thank you all.
Thank you.